Hello everyone, only a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing, it's free, and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. My 29 parents have always been in financial trouble, something that I have never been able to understand because they both have a really generous salary, more than 3 times my own. Because of these financial troubles, my aunts, uncles, and grandma have had over the years to lend them money. We were evicted a couple of times, that I know. We have had the water, the electricity and the internet cut. Many things that over the years I admit have affected my emotional and mental health. All of this has made my relationship with my parents very difficult over the years, more when they would take advantage of me, making me pay for many things with the money that I earned working during holidays to pay for college, or making me call my grandma to ask her for money, all of it, while my mum used to spend money whenever she could in purses or jewelry. In the moment I became an adult because they started to sign on the bills under my name without my permission, mostly because their credit was so bad that the companies wouldn't allow them to sign with their own names. When I figured it out I asked them to stop, but they just lied about it and I just let it go because I couldn't deal with it. Fast forward to the present, because of the Rona situation, I was looking forward the money from my income tax return because my salary has gone down, so this money would have helped a lot. Instead of it, I received a letter from a courthouse saying that the money has been confiscated. I immediately phoned my mum and she said that she didn't know anything about it, but she will fix it. Since I don't trust her at all I called the court myself, and then they explained me that during the last year there has been a process against me by a company I owe money from unpaid bills. All the papers had been sent to my parents and they had sign and take them. The debt was not paid with the money from the tax income, so part of my salary from now on will be confiscated too until it's fully paid. So, my parents stole my identity to contract a bill under my name, didn't pay for it, and when the company claimed that debt through lawyers and a judge, they kept all the papers from me, which is also illegal, apparently waiting for all of it to be fixed by itself. My mother said that it was her right to put it under my name because I am her daughter and it is my duty to help with the family burdens. Since then, and after really nasty words from her side and my sisters, who says that I am ungrateful and selfish, I haven't spoken to them, and I am in the middle of a global pandemic with my salary already low, paying for a debt that it is not mine. My friends and boyfriends say that I should talk with the police and stop all of this, because otherwise they will keep doing it and I am afraid they will. So, would I be the idiot if I speak with the court, even if it means that my parents, 70 and 63, could go to jail? Not the idiot for sending 2 people guilty of fraud to jail. They made their choices and have rationalized it. You've suffered for it and will likely continue to suffer for it since you don't really know the extent. Your sister has likely been victimized too, but they have her convinced that fraud is normal because it's family. Nonsense. Get a lawyer. Not the idiot. This is identity theft. It is going to affect your credit, your ability to obtain certain kinds of work, rental housing, mortgages, student and other loans etc. for a very long time. The longer you let them emotionally blackmail you into not dealing with this, the longer you postpone your own financial stability and security. The odds are very low that your parents will get jail time. You will be dealing with this for years and years to come. The sooner you start coping with it directly, the sooner things will begin to be straightened out. I am so sorry that this happened. Not the idiot. Take every step you can to clear your name. If your parents end up in legal trouble for breaking the law, that's on them, not on you. They are horrible people. The only way to fix your credit and finances is to call the police and get a lawyer. They will try to manipulate and guilt you to not do this, but everything they say is a lie. They only care that they got caught. You are only an ATM. Please file charges as soon as possible and go no contact with them. If you're really concerned about them going to jail, you could get a lawyer involved to have them sign a contract admitting guilt, taking the debt out of your name, and setting up a payment plan. And as long as they abide, you won't press charges. My 56 wife died at the young age of 51 from a car accident. I was in deep mourning for about a year after her death. I met my new girlfriend C, 43, around January. C was the one who made me laugh for the first time after my wife died. She's smart as hell, 3 Ivy League degrees, has a dark sense of humor that I love, a terrific cook, and overall an amazing woman who I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. She is also on the heavier side, a fact that becomes relevant later. I have 2 children, E, 25, and A, 19. They were well aware that I had gotten a new girlfriend before I first introduced them to C this summer. She got along immediately with E, but A was very standoffish. After that initial meeting I asked A if there was something wrong, but she denied it. C made a few more attempts to get to know A, but they were all rudely rejected. E and A both came home for Thanksgiving dinner. I asked A to please be polite during the meal, since she's always been rude in her interactions with C, even though C has been nothing but gracious in return. The dinner was going as well as it could have for the first 10 minutes, although I noticed A glaring at C the entire time. When C went to grab her third helping of mashed potatoes, I said, "Don't you think you've eaten enough, you fat pig?" C started sobbing immediately and ran off into the bedroom. I felt my face turn red and told A to get out. About half an hour after A left I texted her stating that I would no longer pay her tuition unless 1. She apologized to C and 2. C accepts her apology. I must have assumed that I was bluffing because she instead doubled down on her behavior during Thanksgiving dinner. I then logged into her university's tuition payment website, cancelled next semester's tuition, and sent A the screenshots. She called me crying and begging me to reconsider, but I told her my mind was made up. Everyone sucks here. The daughter is likely still mourning from the loss of her mother, but went way over the line. However, she's now in a position where she won't be able to get a job and save enough to make it through school, thus condemning her to either drop out or take massive loans. Both options seriously negatively impact her future and likely would prevent her from maturing beyond the person she is now. Make sure you marry this chick if it was worth throwing your daughter's future away over a comment. And not just daughter's future but his future relationship with his daughter. This may also change his relationship with the other daughter if the 2 daughters have a strong relationship, so basically, he may have just thrown away the chance to keep his original family together. Hopefully, he will be happy with just having girlfriend. Everyone sucks here. Something more is undoubtedly going in between C and A. You need to find out why A has such a strong dislike of her and reacted so strongly. A is probably still deep in mourning for her mother. You've managed to put your grief behind you, but the process is much slower for some people. Seeing C in her mother's place at Thanksgiving was probably very hard on your daughter. That doesn't excuse her rudeness, but it might explain it. Secondly, you've made your daughter's tuition dependent on C accepting her apology. As the fees are something between you and your daughter that's not appropriate, especially as C seems to be the issue here. I'm a 19-year-old with 6 older siblings. My parents spent most of my childhood spending money they didn't have on my siblings, so by the time I hit my teenage years, I realized I was probably going to have to fend for myself financially when I turn 18. I started babysitting and doing odd jobs around my neighborhood when I was 14 and eventually got part-time jobs during the school year. By the time I was 16, I was working 3 jobs in the summer and 2 in addition to school. When my parents told me they couldn't pay for college, I'd already earned enough, along with scholarships, to be able to put myself through college and have plenty left over. I've continued to work during the school year and have been able to make money during quarantine by tutoring online. The issue began a few months ago when my eldest sister, 29, got married. My parents spent 30 grand on her wedding, taking out a second mortgage to do so. To make matters worse, my dad was furloughed 6 days after the wedding. They'd effectively dug themselves into a hole they couldn't get out of. 2 weeks ago, my mom texted me for the first time since the wedding. She didn't say hi, ask how I was, or make any small talk. She just said, "Your dad and I need a favor. When can we call you?" I'd expected this. None of my elder siblings are doing well financially, and they've exhausted all other loan options, both from family and the bank. I figured they would text me, ask me to loan them a few thousand, and promise to pay it back when they could figure things out. I was absolutely willing to pitch in a few thousand and had even considered giving them some of my tutoring jobs so they could make some extra cash. I was not, however, expecting them to demand I give them all the money, close to $40,000, I'd made from the ages of 14-18. The exact statement my mom had made was, "You made that money under our roof. We were the ones who allowed you to work, so you only have it because of us anyway. We bought you food and clothes for 18 years. That money is only a fraction of what you owe us," and so on. I said that food, clothes, and shelter were the very minimum, it's what they signed up for when they chose to become parents, I didn't ask for any of it, etc. They responded by telling me that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the life I have today. I said they were being ridiculous and hung up. Since that day, both, along with two of my siblings, have continuously hounded me about giving them what is rightfully theirs. My siblings, who have never been asked to give them money, are still professing that it's my job as their kid to take care of them. I told them they wouldn't see a cent of my hard-earned money and have no right to make such a request. I'm torn. I feel awful for refusing to help them out, but on the other hand, this was their fault. I feel I shouldn't be responsible for fixing their mess. Am I the idiot? Okay, first of even if they had gone above and beyond for you in your childhood and also paid your way through college, you wouldn't be the idiot for refusing to give them money. Parents caring for their kids financially is what parents do, it's not something that needs to be made up for once you've grown. If that were the case, then it seems to me your siblings have a lot of paying back to do. You're not the idiot, and don't let them hound you until you give in, because they'll end up milking you dry and putting you in the same situation and them and your siblings. I hate parents who see their kids as a piggy bank. Nope, not the idiot, and I would block anyone coming at you with any nonsense of owing them. You don't need that kind of energy in your life. You're right, they chose to have you, which includes providing for you for at least 18 years, which they clearly didn't even do if you had to start working at 14. Their irresponsibility is not your responsibility. I'm trying to figure out why they put themselves in a hole because of a wedding. And then how was it your responsibility to bail them out? Hold up. You're 19. And they couldn't assist you in any way with the cost of your education. But they remortgaged their home to pay for your 29-year-old sister's wedding. Not the idiot. Don't give them a dime. Not the idiot. Their poor financial choices are not your fault or problem, speaking purely based on you being a separate person. The fact that they expect this from their own child is downright disgusting. I'm so sorry that you're being put through this. I'm 23, the youngest in my family with two older sisters, Amy, 27, and May, 26. In general, I've always felt my sisters were raised differently than me. They're only a year and 10 months apart, so they were only one grade apart in school and much closer than they were with me growing up. They got to do all the same activities together, hung out with the same friend groups, and got to travel together once they were both in college. However, I was just the little sister that they didn't want around growing up. For instance, I was literally kicked out of the house during May's 16th birthday because I was still in middle school, and they thought it'd be weird if I was there at the party, still had to clean up their mess when the party was over. Anyway, my sisters got to do a lot of cool activities that I didn't get to do when I was growing up. They got to do ice skating, horseback riding lessons, all these cool summer camps, etc. Growing up, all I did was sit at their lessons and wait for them to be over. The only activity I had was tennis for a year and a half before my parents cancelled it. When my sisters left for college, my parents kind of checked out and didn't really care I was still in high school. I was pretty much just doing everything on my own. When they got older, my dad bought Amy 3 cars over the course of 5 years, and my mom bought May a car. When I was old enough to drive, my parents said they didn't have enough money to buy me a car, so I had to finance my first car. My parents even helped them out with rent during college, car insurance, and any other expense. However, I have been pretty much supporting myself since I was 17. Today, my sisters are both married with kids. Amy has 2 kids and May has 1. My mom looks after all the kids while my sisters are working. Meanwhile, I'm in grad school very far away from my family. Anyway, my mom has been complaining how she can't handle watching 3 kids under the age of 2 at the same time and has been bugging me to quit school to come help out watching the kids, which pissed me off because it feels like it's just me revolving my life around my sisters again. She was also pointing out how Amy has saved up enough money to buy a house, which they don't see me doing at her age, cause I haven't been saving as much as her. Amy was living at home until 3 months ago and didn't pay for anything. That's when I pretty much snapped and told her that maybe if they treated me equally as them financially, then perhaps I'd be buying a house at 27 as well. She started going on about how it was difficult raising 3 kids, and I told her that she shouldn't have 3 kids if she couldn't handle it and treat all 3 equally. My mom got really upset and hung up the phone and hasn't really reached out to me since. I do feel kind of bad now though because they did provide me food and shelter growing up. Not the idiot. At all. Food and shelter isn't even the bare minimum for a decent parent. The very idea that you should give up your own ambitions to come home and babysit your sister's kids, while they also shame you for not being able to save up for a house at 27, is both unreasonable and absolutely awful. Your mother heard exactly what she deserved to hear, more than, because you're not at all wrong. If they checked out on being your parent, then she doesn't get to think she was a good parent to you. Honestly, they clearly didn't at all plan for you or your needs, and that makes them pretty crap parents. If the only thing you can think of for positives is they didn't let me starve to death on the streets, she deserves to hear way worse. And your dad too. Not the idiot. First, do not quit school. No matter how much they beg you to. Second, your parents set a precedent of support with your two siblings. You're right to feel cheated. They either shouldn't have had more kids than they could handle, or they shouldn't have prioritized them over you. Not the idiot. It sounds like your parents shouldn't have had any kids. Spoiling two of them while abusing the third is going to warp all three of them. You don't owe your mother or sisters one single thing. Please stay far away and follow your dreams, now that you can. So, her whole pitch was, your life obviously isn't going anywhere because you won't be buying a house in 4 years, so you may as well give up your whole life to take care of your older sister's kids. Wow, mother of the year. Not the idiot.